Well, as you can imagine, the likes of Ince, Gascoigne, Adams, Pearce, Shearer, all upbeat type people, good characters, winners. I remember it being quite full on the night, or being quite vocal and quite noisy. I don't think you'll ever recreate an atmosphere or a football stadium like the old Wembley. I don't think you'll ever do that. That tunnel where you walked out at the far end, you could hear the team outside, the crowd outside, and the crescendo was just unbelievable once you got there.
It was a very proud moment, I think, most importantly of all, because we'd qualified for the tournament in October, my last game.
And there was a little bit of a worry around the country, the fact that we weren't playing competitive matches. So a little bit of worry about how's the team developing, and that's where Terry was getting a little bit of stick about that. It was also off-field stuff that was going in, that his business stuff that was in the papers as well at the time. He was getting a little bit of stick for that. And really, I think when you knew that he was top draw, if you were in the squad, if you knew his coaching methods and the way he was going about things, you could tell he was something special as a coach and as a manager.
I've also had a good relationship with Terry, a man I admire and respect, and I thought that he prepared that England team very, very well. I think that team was extremely unlucky, as was Bob Robson's a few years earlier in the World Cup.
I remember Jamie Redknapp, he played right-hand side, probably unfamiliar for him, and he got injured after 5 minutes, which was great for me. I think you think about this as a kid when you're coming on, you know, and you're desperate to do, but you never actually think it'll happen.
Stone, away from Quentin. Good ball. It's McManaman.
And it took a while to get into the game. And I remember also Switzerland went in front early on, and it was this my fault? Have I got something to do with this, you know?
Magnificent goal. International quality, writ large.
Dear me. It's a widely travelled coat, that was. It was a reasonably expensive purchase at the time, but it did so many years' service, it turned out to be a very cheap coat in the end.
I mean, this was a big relief. Stuart Pearce scoring the goal as well. Obviously, we went 1-0 down, and it was a bit of a worry, you know. So it was nice for Pearce to get that. And plus, he was his teammate, so I was, you know, especially pleased from at the time. He played with us at Forest for many years.
Virtual own goal, wasn't it? Yeah, he was saved at the keeper, otherwise, I think. Oh, blind, what hell of that is from Shane, isn't it?
I mean, the thing about crossing the ball is as well, I used to always try just to put it into areas and let the centre forwards try to get onto it. And you've got Shearer and Sheringham in the box there. I mean, it's not the greatest cross in the world. You've just tried to put it in an area. It's the header that makes the difference. It's Teddy's movement. He's made that into a good cross. I remember from then on, it was sort of, we were all over them. Really, we could have been 5 or 6. Once again, just getting involved in the play with good centre forwards, playing a 1-2 with Shearer there. It's all one-touch football because, once again, it's just playing with good footballers.
Stone, Sheringham. Is there more from Sheringham? Alan Shearer. Still Shearer. Still Shearer. It's a gift for Steve Stone.
It's offside, that goal. Stone's goal's offside.
Probably offside there when I've come to tap the rebound in. Kicked it into the ground, nearly missed it. But it went in, you know.
Seeing it again, I thought at the time he was offside. Now I'm convinced he was offside, but Steve's run into the path of the goalkeeper unsighted him, and then he could help himself to a little tap in thanks to Shearer's hard work and turn.
I've actually mentioned this goal to Shearer once before. You know, I said, listen, I scored on my England debut with a shot which you had and I followed in, and he couldn't remember it. But Alan would only remember the goals he scored, because that's how he was. I mean, that just capped the night off, really. I remember Frank Clark, my manager, coming down to watch from Nottingham. Not sure whether I'd get on or not. Like I say, I got on after 5 minutes. And it was a successful night because they're only friendlies as well, and everybody's trying and get their place in an England squad going into Euro 96, which was obviously a massive tournament in our own backyard. I've got to thank Trevor Francis because he was up in the studio for Sky that day, and he actually gave me man of the match. And we played against, I think it was Portugal after that, and he did exactly the same the next game, and he was the co-commentator that game, and he gave us it for both games, so I owe him a drink.
The important work for Switzerland had been done. It was a nice occasion. We wanted to enjoy the occasion and make a good game of it, and I think we did that okay. we were very popular visitors because we left with the host having won the game. You're always a popular visitor when the hosts are able to win the game and you don't disappoint.
I mean, I look back now and still see some of the players who I played with that day were top draw, and that was probably as good as an England side that we've had over the last, I would say, 10-15 years, and it was probably the best opportunity that we had to go and win a tournament. As we all know now, Gareth Southgate missed the penalty, but I would always say he was man enough to go up and take it, and you don't blame anybody for that. And it was a proper squad with proper players, and thoroughly enjoyed the night.